All right, so let's get down to our just gonna our init function. So here we're passing in the model name, which will be this is the model. Okay, and we're just storing it in the storing it here. And as I mentioned, we're using a class method style constructor because I am just customizing class level behavior. All right, so as I mentioned, this video is primarily mostly introduce you to this topic, and then let's dive into the coding. So the first method that we're gonna be writing is this one. It's generate the data set. So generating some synthetic data sets. In summary of this is generate a synthetic data set of motivational quotes. I just selected that. Supports singleton, which is simple instruction plus the quote, and multi-turn, which is quote to reflection or explanation dialogue formats. I'll get more into I'll explain exactly what all this means, and we'll save the output as I mentioned earlier into JSON format or Hugging Faces.rf format, split into training, value, test. Now, if you are not familiar with machine learning, try to understand. I would suggest you go out and do some reading on and understand it, the training data sets. Why is it that size? What subset of the population of data you're supposed to select? Validation data, what subset, what size, etc. Test. So you can properly train your module and do some testing and validation and then testing. Okay, so the next, so how we leverage a tool here called Faker, and that's leveraging that tool to generate our data. So um, the Faker library is just a Python library used to generate fake data such as names, phone number, etc. And it supports handy. It's super handy when you need these cases. Okay. So that's what we're using right here. Okay. So now for reproducibility, we're going to seed our random. Okay. So random dot seed, and we're just going to use the common 42. So let me explain seed a little bit, just in case you're not familiar with this. If you are, you can fast forward, but I'm trying to make this video for individuals that are new, and also those that has experience can also can fast forward beyond these. But what is random? This random.seed 42. The random module generates random numbers. Calling random seed sets the starting point called the seed for the sequence of random numbers. This random seed initializes the random number generator with the seed value 42. Why use this? You may ask. Reproducibility. Setting the seed ensures that every time you run the code, this or any other code you use it in, the sequence of random numbers is the same. This is crucial for debugging, testing, and sharing experiments, especially in machine learning and data generation. Without setting a seed, code could generate different random values each run, making results inconsistent or hard to compare. Now, you may ask, why 42? Or what does it represent? It's just an arbitrary fixed number chosen to seed the random generator. Any integer can be used as a seed. The number 42 is just a popular default programming example, but it has no special effect beyond being fixed. Okay, so if you don't call random seeds, then every run produces a different data set, making it harder to reproduce or compare fine-tuning results, hence the reproducibility. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create my directory where I'll be storing my data. So let's dive into let's explain this piece of code here. I'm gonna create a tuple of quote templates. So I pre-typed many of this. That's not to give you boredom. I don't think anyone sits here and type all of these things. Okay, so here is our quote, a tuple of our quote template. So let me explain it a little bit. What are the topics? These guys here. It says each tuple has two parts. A topic keyword like hops, perseverance, etc., and the motivational quote itself that relates to this topic. Okay, and it's attributed with some author. Okay, so that explains that. Now the purpose of the list. This list acts as a small curated data set of inspirational quotes grouped by themes or topics. Sorry, it is used to generate training examples for the language model. The model learns to associate the topic with relevant motivational quote, these topics with these quotes, and explanation. Why structure it this way? Well, by pairing each topic with a quote, we can create instruction prompts like give me a quote. And what are prompts? If you're familiar with using like ChatGPT or so forth, when you type that stuff in, that's a prompt. All right, and you're asking it to give you some information back, or you're pretty much submitting some questions. So that's a prompt. If you're new to this, I recommend that you get more familiar with prompting or prompt engineering. But an example is give me a quote about hope, which that provide target input outputs that retain a real quote on that topic. So that's why we structure it this way. This structure supports instruction tuning, where the model learns to follow prompts asking about specific topics. Example, when generating data samples, the code randomly selects a topic, quote, pair. Then it formats an instruction such as give me a quote about perseverance. The model's output or label is the actual quote paired with the topic. So just wrap that up in a summary. This topic list is a foundation data set of topic quote pairs used to create meaningful training samples that help the model learn how to generate relevant motivational quotes based on instructions. How this fits into data sets generation for prompting format. Data generation process, the script uses the topic list as a source of meaningful content to create training examples for the language. Okay, so let's get now to the quote and topic template. So we're going to generate a template. So now you understand why the purpose of this. Let's jump into this here. So let's talk about this quote topics and template. What is this instruction template here? It's a list of string templates basically, right? Each string in this list is a different way of phrasing an instruction or prompt, right? So it's asking for the same thing, but just different ways. That asks for a quote related to a certain topic. This line here, give a quote. This here is just a placeholder that will be replaced with a specific topic. For example, give a quote about, and then it will replace with a word like hope or courage. That's what will be replaced here. The purpose of this template here, of these templates, to create varied natural sounding prompts for the training data set, because not everyone is going to give the same thing, ask the model the same question the same way. Just look at it that way. Instead of always asking the same questions, give a quote about hope, the model sees different ways to request similar information. So remember, this is like humans but machines talking, with communicating with you. This variation involves the model ability to generalize and respond to diverse user instruction. Example you said, right? If the topic is hope, each template becomes, for example, one, give a quote about hope, right? Give a quote about hope. Share and inspire quote related to hope. So hope will be inside of these. Okay, why is this important in dataset generation? When generating training example, what we do, we randomly pick one template and fill in with the current topic. This results in a more diverse set of instructions, which helps the model learn to understand and answer differently worded prompts effectively. Also, it mimics real user queries about better and improves robustness. So basically, these here are instruction templates in general, are used to create natural varied instruction prompts. And this is by inserting different topics into multiple phrase templates, enhancing the diversity and quality of your training data. Okay, so let's generate a single turn example. Remember we talked about we're going to have multi-turn and single turn. So let's generate the single turn. And I'll explain the code. It's the code itself. Okay, so let's explain. So this is a single turn example. We're doing two. So for a single turn training sample, what we're doing, we randomly pick, right? We randomly pick a topic from a set of topics. We then use predefined instruction templates like give a quote, this guy here, where this is replaced by the keyword, and the keyword we then now create a fake quote. This here, create a fake quote, and then we package it. So what we're doing here, we're generating a fake quote. So we randomly pick a topic, okay, create instructions, then we create a fake quote, and then we take that now and we package it here. Remember the template that I showed on the slides earlier. This should bring back some memory on that. All right, so now that we have our single turn example, let's go in and generate our multi-turn example.